Alright guys, before today's episode, just a quick reminder that we are on Patreon. For as little as £3 a month, you can sign up and get access to an extra episode every 2 weeks, plus bonus content from all our previous live shows, including the full footage and behind the scenes from our most recent one at the Pavilion Theatre in Glasgow. Alongside that one, if you haven't seen the other ones, we've got stuff from our very first one. Is it Stand in Glasgow?
Stand, the Glee
Club in Glasgow,
Edinburgh, two,
two,
Edinburgh?
two. Both of the ones we done at Edinburgh Fringe last year,
London,
and the London Comedy Festival that we had,
and the Pavilion
as well as the Pavilion. So those are all up there, and you'll also get first dibs on tickets for upcoming shows as well. We also, myself and Stuart's Edinburgh Fringe shows for this year are on sale now. Hopefully sees there, and we've got a bunch of previews. Myself, I know I've got ones in Glasgow, Dundee, Aberdeen, and Edinburgh as well in the run up to August. Steve, you've got a few whips on there as well, don't you?
I'm doing a few whips at the Edinburgh Fringe, work in progress that stands for, and I'm doing 3 of last year's show, which is at the Fringe as well. So
Yeah.
I've got a bunch of stuff going on.
Check it out. And Stuart has also got his going as well. In fact, so busy that he's currently on a call with his agent.
Oh, look at me! I'm on a call with my agent.
But yeah, guys, well, hopefully see you at the shows. Do check out the Patreon if you haven't already. And aside from that, enjoy today's episode.
Enjoy the app.
Welcome to the Some Laugh podcast.
It could be like, oh, that was some laugh, or there was just some laughs.
Well, no promising all laugh.
No, there's going to be some.
It's some laugh.
How is the tour going? Well, what's going on?
Going good. The shows have all been sold out where I thought they would sell out, and the shows have all not sold well where I thought they wouldn't sell well. Not talking about any Blackpools, but the biggest disaster has been my car. Its engine overheated when I was in Bristol, so it's meant that when I was about to go do the sound check in Bristol, on the hottest day of the year so far, the engine's overheating. I'm like, fuck, what's going on? So long and short of it is, if anybody is listening in Edinburgh and has a cooling fan resistor for a Vauxhall Corsa, that would be sick, because my garage informs me there are none in Edinburgh easy to get right now.
Oh, wow. Shit.
So I can drive, I just can't stop, because if there's airflow circulating through the engine and the radiator, this will be fine. I just can't get into traffic.
Kind of like Speed.
Yeah, like a really shit version of Speed. Yeah.
It's like Phil Ellis all over again.
I know,
It's giving Father Ted milk float energy. So, yeah.
How do you park then?
I can slow down, but very, very briefly. So I can't idle the engine in traffic. And if I do, then I have to turn the heaters on and bake myself to death. Was my mechanic's exact words.
Right.
So,
Fucking hell.
hopefully that gets sorted before the end of the week.
Yeah.
So I'm going to London, and famously there's no traffic in London. So
Are you driving to London?
Yeah. Driving everywhere. I don't know how people tour on public transport, man. I don't know how they do it.
I guess you've got loads of equipment.
I've got loads of audio equipment and stuff.
And
and
you're
it's
carrying,
yeah.
I took my camera bag to London, and it's just, see if we just had extra bags. It's such a pain in the arse. I could imagine carrying about all that sort of stuff.
I don't know how comedians travel by rail and don't drive, because you don't drive, right?
No.
How do you manage it?
I'll try and stay here if I can.
Yeah.
Don't bother my ass.
Just don't travel.
It was all fun and games till my rail card expired, and now I'm like, I got to fucking learn to drive.
Aye.
Yeah.
Well, I don't. My rule's like any further than like Birmingham, I would say, and even then, I think in more than 5 hours, and I won't, unless I'm staying overnight, I won't drive, because I think there's no point for me. It's like the train to London's like, I'm not going to be driving about in London and stuff
Yeah,
like that. So,
that's about my limit. Any further than Birmingham, Sheffield, 4 or 5 hours, I'm like, I should get a hotel.
Yeah,
I've done some crazy drives though.
Well, you would usually go down and then drive back up the same night.
I would normally, if it's like a Saturday night, if I'm in Birmingham, sometimes I'll drive home to Edinburgh. But that is 6 hours overnight.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And coffee makes me so wired. All I need is one espresso, and I'm wide awake by the time I get home at 4 a.m.
Wow.
So it's not too bad.
I remember one time I done Northamptonshire, and I think it was Northampton, and I think because it had North in the title, I thought it kind of be that further. And then it's like, no, when you start seeing the A1, and it's like you start seeing the signs for London, you're going, oh, I'm quite far down here now.
Yeah.
And I got to the place, and it was in a hotel in Northampton, right? And I got paid like 50 quid or something, and I basically realised I'm going to fall asleep because it's like a 7-8 hour drive down. I was like, I'm going to fall asleep at the wheel if I need to drive back tonight. So I just said to them, like, have you just got any like spare rooms and all that? And they looked about and they says, we can give you a room for 40 quid. So I made a tenner, but it cost like about 150 quid in petrol and back. So it's like the fuel is so fucking pointless.
Definition of a
right.
false economy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 100%. I think the worst I've ever done was I woke up in Sweden, just did the Uppsala Improv Festival, or Gothenburg, and so flew back. And that evening was gigging in Hull. And I planned to drive there and back, but I didn't really know where Hull was because I was still in an open spot. So I went, I'd never been to Hull before, it's fine. And it's 5 hours there, 5 hours back. And I'd woken up in a different country. So landed at midday, basically had to get in the car, drove on stage, immediately off stage, drive back.
My God.
Wild.
Aye, there's no
Some-
self-care in that.
I know.
Yeah.
The things we do to get a middle at the Comedy Lounge Hull.
Some of the travel's mental, but because you do that spontaneous Potter, is it
Yeah.
called? And so you're always traveling the country. You're doing really nice theatres and stuff, doing that, though, aren't you?
Yeah, it's great fun. The travelling is less fun when it's 5 of us crammed into my Vauxhall Corsa and a piano and our bags. But it's great. So the show is an improvised Harry Potter show for adults based on audience suggestions. It's unofficial. J.K. Rowling isn't affiliated. I now feel I have to say that at the top of...
Well, even the official shit they're trying to get her rid of these days.
Yeah. So it's extremely unofficial. The show that must not be named for legal reasons.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good, though.
So we take it around having a lot of fun with it. We now tour every October for 3 weeks, and that's all we do, that and Fringe, just because it's so much easier.
Totally.
What was the story with Stu Murphy, who's in?
Because he's
Friend of
never
the show.
fucking seen it, has he?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have one member of the cast who's never read the books or seen the films, which we tell the crowd at the top of proceedings, but we think it's funny.
Yeah.
We're like, nah, don't read it. It'll be a lot funny if you have no idea what's going on. A good audience surrogate for the people who've been dragged along by their loved ones. So we were in Salisbury, and I actually wasn't at this gig. The rest of the team was gigging elsewhere. But when he hosts, he comes out and he says, ladies, gentlemen, and friends, I have never read the Harry Potter books. Everyone goes, boo. And he says, and you can suck my balls. Very pantomime, a lot of fun. But
And it's very like Stu Murphy to do that. He's almost got like a kind of Matt Berry
yeah.
voice delivery.
Yeah.
It's obviously a fun time. Like, no one's ever taken offense, apart from one woman took exception to this. She was very drunk. And weirdly, a friend of mine is the venue manager of that venue, the duty manager rather. And she was saying, oh, this woman that came in, she was really drunk, really entitled, was just causing a ruckus, was like really rude to all the staff members. 10 minutes in, she hears this and like starts heckling and then is a dick to all the staff and gets dragged out. And then the next day, I get a call from the producer saying, this woman's going to the press. We're like, with what? With what? It says, and the title of the like Salisbury like Express or some terrible local newspaper was something like, woman angry as Harry Potter actor tells her to suck his balls live on stage. Like, this is a willful misrepresentation of the facts here. But this got picked up by like angry people in local newspapers, that Twitter account, and then by like Just British Things, and then like the Daily Mail and the Mirror were all ringing me, trying to bait me into saying like, so did he say this? Like, do you know the woman's address? Like, did you get into a fight? Like, what's happening? I'm like, it's such a dull story of an entitled woman who bought her own Gryffindor robe for the gig.
Wow.
And then like went back the next day, took a picture of herself looking angry outside the closed theatre, and then tried to get her 15 minutes of fame, I think.
Was Stu not kind of annoyed as well? Because Stu, like, I don't even know if they named him in it or like.
Yeah, that's why
there's
he was
no
annoyed.
picture of him. It's like, I can't even capitalise.
Yeah,
on
there was a picture of me because I wasn't even there. Because what mine was the
Associate of well-known comedian MC Hammer.
like, no. I'm not going around the country screaming abuse at women. But yeah, that was funny. We're doing improv together for years, me and Stu.
You
and all the rest
you
of the
do
team.
the improv. It's Monday Night Improv now. It used to be Improv Wars. Is that
Yeah, and the
right?
Glasgow stands. And you guys have all done that.
We
Day off.
have. I've done it once. Yeah,
I've done it once.
It's very,
I found it hard.
I was so nervous
I
doing
found
it.
it
Yeah.
really
I remember
nerve-wracking.
all your gigs. You guys sincerely did very well.
Thank
a
you.
lot better than a lot of the guests we have who are like, often they've never done comedy. Maybe they've only done a bit of improv or vice versa. And, they get very easily spooked. But you guys more than held your own.
So
thank
this is the thing with people, I suppose, if they've never done or seen improv as well, because like it is just such a mad thing to go into a show and just not have any prep done, I guess. And
Yeah.
you just confident. I'll just entertain these people just on, whatever the fuck happens, I know it can work.
Yeah, because like that's why I enjoy doing it. I find the idea of stand-up so scary. It's why I've never done it. And obviously, I'm on the stand-up circuit doing stand-up comedy clubs and everything, and get to work with great people such as yourselves. But being able to go out and not know what's going on without having to prepare, and the
Yeah.
joys in the discovery. That's really exciting for me. Really, really fun.
Have you ever? So you've never done like a straight like
Never,
stand-up set?
never once in my life.
Have you hosted or anything?
You hosted a couple of weeks ago with me, didn't you?
Oh yeah,
Top
I've
Banana.
MC'd. I've MC'd against my better judgment and will.
But at least with that, you can do some raps and
You
stuff.
can
as
do
well.
some crowd work and then
Crowd work, aye.
turn them into freestyle raps.
Yeah.
Which is the main thing. Like I do now is the improvised raps as MC Hammersmith, and it's great fun. Like I love it. And I found that you guys have seen me do comedy clubs a lot, but in the solo shows, it's a lot more improv because I found that doing the same routines 15, 20 minutes in comedy clubs, you get the same words suggested, you get the same objects. So in the solo show I've been touring, I've been trying to like actually improvise and actually like freestyle.
Yeah.
Because I would say, Will, that like what you do in comedy clubs, like nobody smashes it harder in a
Yeah.
room
Well, that's very
Yeah.
kind.
than what the thing you do, and like the
It's
the
one of those-
reaction that you see in a room is like nobody does that quite like the way you can do it.
Well,
one of
thank
those
you.
ones where you're like you never want to follow
No,
you
no, no.
because
no.
it's like the
worst following
impossible,
Britain.
impossible task. Yeah, so
Put that in my poster.
you either have to close every gig or I just don't want to be on the same bill.
There's only going on after actual magic, you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because you just say it's like a fucking party and they're all up fucking dancing and all that.
Yeah.
But then also just they're like pure blown away by it. But have you ever like? Because I've only ever seen you smash it. Really.
Thank you.
Have you ever had it where like? Does it ever just pure die in its
Oh yeah,
arms?
I've had bad gigs. I've had bad gigs.
Really?
When the tech is bad and the sound system's not working, that can really screw me over. I think the worst gig I've ever had, though, where everything worked from a technical perspective, was in 2018. I'm still scarred from it. It was in Dumfries and Galloway for Rob Crosby.
The room.
Yeah.
I know that
No,
place.
not even. It
Not
was
even that?
wasn't Dumfries. It was Kirkcudbright on the coast.
Oh, right.
It was a hotel. It's about 80 people, which was also the average age. And they're looking at me, and Compare comes on and does a baffling 2 minutes where he reads a poem about wanking in a bush to these old people. It gets nothing.
Who
Stepping
was
on your
that?
toes.
Exactly, I know. This is my material, man. And then he goes, well, that didn't work. Then says to an old woman in the front, do you like rap music? She goes, no. He's like, we're going to hate this, man. MC Hammersmith. I went, hello, motherfuckers. And just silence. They hated me. Hated me. I think the only other one that's gone as bad as that was I did a cruise ship. I'm actually not allowed to say which cruise ship.
Right. Are we allowed to guess?
Sure.
Let us
many
not
cruise
do
ships
that.
How many cruise ships do you know? By name.
The
But,
Calmac.
Calmac.
Calmac Ferry. Yeah. Across from Aberdeen to Shetland. They did cast for it. And like
The Yoka Ferry. That's what we do.
rapping
Yeah.
for a Mars bar in the canteen. No, it was a cruise ship and it was full of millionaires, which is why I'm not allowed to say which one it was.
Wow.
Yeah, but
Jeffrey Epstein.
honestly, vibes. I go out and I'm like, we'd like to do an hour. I'm like, okay, they're all very old and American and Republican. I don't know if it's going to work. And they said, you need to tone it down for the early show. But for the late show, you can say what you like. So early show, just died in my hole for an hour. They don't know what rap music is. They don't want to know. They've been promised comedy because the booker saw us at Fringe and had never really seen that much comedy live before and went, that guy's comedy. Let's have this guy come do comedy. I'm like, you picked the sweariest act in Britain. You don't need me on your cruise ship for pearl clutching Republicans. And so did it. Silence for an hour. And then
But you'd think they could appreciate the improv nature of
talent
it
of
and
it.
the
Just get into the tunes even, just
Yeah.
like the beat.
that's what I told myself.
You'd think even if they didn't find it funny, they'd still be impressed by it, no?
Yeah, you'd think. I like to think they were quietly appreciating it. Let's say that, Steve.
What do you do? Like, do you just kind of need to white knuckle it and just do the stuff sort of down the barrel, or do you
Yeah,
have any sort of
just-
tactics to kind of try and get them on board?
Try to do raps about the people in the room, and then they're crossing their arms. They're not interested. People are walking out.
How
It's
long
like-
were you doing on the ship?
I did 6 days, and it was 2 shows for the people on the boat. Then it was a show for the crew, which was amazing, by the way, because the crew are normal people. They're not millionaires, you know? And that was so much fun. It was a room about this size, about 20 people. And it was just like so crammed in, so close, and like so much fun. But
And was it like a 20-minute set or was it like an hour-long show?
they were all hour-long shows.
Fuck.
So when it went well, you feel it. And then when it goes badly, you feel it.
Was there was it famous millionaires or just money people that wouldn't be
Just
known?
money
kind of
people.
thing?
Yeah,
Aye,
just
aye.
money people. Nobody famous that I was aware of, sadly. But I also had to teach an improv workshop while I was there. and do a workshop on freestyle rap for the millionaires. It's like, when are you going to use this? So
Trying
like,
to teach a millionaire to yes and must be hard.
yeah,
man.
yeah. They've never had to listen to anybody or like build up anything in their life. They just get everything handed to them.
You're responsible for Logan Roy's rap in the V&A in Dundee.
L to the OG.
The most bizarre thing was we did it when there was quite a lot of sway, so the floor is like moving, like because the ship's on like a huge amount of like waves and stuff. And I'm trying to get these millionaires to stand up and be like, "Here's a 2-person scene. Come and get a suggestion." And they're there with their Zimmer frames and their walking sticks, and they're being tossed around the ship, unable to stand up. And like, this is carnage. Why is this happening?
Just felt like the band on the Titanic.
Yeah, pretty much. We're going down, boys. Yeah.
I think like that's probably my worst fear doing a cruise ship, because it's like if you die in your arse, you can't escape. There's no escape. You're
live in it.
still
Yeah,
on
yeah.
a boat with everybody who hates you.
See them all.
essentially.
Well, because I've often, because I was in Birmingham the other weekend, I was thinking like, because there's always like stag do's and stuff in these
Yeah.
hotels, and I'm like, what if one of the stag do's came to the show, and then they,
Then they follow you back to the
because
hotel.
actually I think in Cardiff the weekend before, I was at the train station going to London, and there was a stag do group, and they were all looking at me, and at first I'm like, I was just thought, they're probably just like looking at whoever's come up the stairs, and I realised I think they were in the gig.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
It's a fucking, so you feel so awkward. So
I think
like,
I've maybe told you this before, but I had a stag do years ago at the Beehive before Monkey Ball existed.
Uh-huh.
I was new, and then the next day I served them when I was working at the escape room. So you like die in your arse for like 15 minutes, and then you've got to like pretend you're a fucking spaceman. The next day.
oh my
Did they
God.
recognise you?
Terrible. Yeah,
Yeah, fuck.
terrible.
Oh, that's,
Anyway, sorry.
that's tough.
I'd hate that.
No, I used to be a tour guide before I attempted to do this full time, and yeah,
Were you
sometimes
a Harry Potter tour guide.
I was a Harry Potter tour guide.
Nice.
Got to monetize.
Were
the
you
wizarding.
actually into Harry Potter originally? Did you
Not
like
really.
It? No.
Not really. Knew a lot about it because I read the books when I was a child, and then when you joined the tour, you had to reread all the books and watch all the films, more than Stu ever did for the Harry Potter show. But so then I knew a lot about it, and people would ask you very niche, nerdy questions, and you'd have to be prepared.
Yeah.
So I did take it fairly seriously, wanted to give them the best tour possible and everything. But you'd be walking around Greyfriars Kirkyard, having just done like a Tuesday at the stand or something, and then the people on your tour would have just seen you be an incredibly sweary freestyle rapper, and you're trying to do this magical experience for them and their kids, and it's a very different vibe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy double life.
Yeah.
So how did you end up? How did it start for you? Like, what was the first thing? Was it improv?
Yeah, it was improv. This is how posh the private school I went to was. A drama teacher offered improv classes as a lunchtime activity for years, and was obviously dog shit at it. It was just whose line is it anyway games. None of us had a clue what we were doing. But then I started doing it at uni, and then from there formed a team with some people who are much older than me, much older. So I spent a lot of my uni time hanging out with 40-year-old men who are still like my best mates now. But yeah, and then that team sort of morphed with some of us into the improvised Harry Potter show we now do. And then as we were doing improvised musicals, I realized that I'd always been into hip hop and rap music. I realized that all freestyle rappers were doing is they were just doing improv, yes-anding themselves, digging deep into one idea. They were just doing it in a very cool way, a much cooler way than like trying to do an improvised Sondheim show in the basement of the Cannon's Gate. And
But
so
there's still it's still a tougher thing, because it's like there's the beats faster, I would
Yeah.
assume, and you have to rhyme everything. So it's like
in a dream world, it does have to rhyme. This one, yeah.
so that is a harder thing than
It's really tough in comedy clubs because like you go from doing improv, where improv is such a wholesome community and everyone uplifts you, and if you do well at an improv night, you'll walk off stage and the other team will be like, "Yay, well done! I can't wait to share your energy." And if you do well at a stand-up night, they'll go, "Fuck you, Will."
Fucking 84 us.
So that was tough, coming in like, this will be fine, and then you do a gig at Cumbernauld Working Men's Club with the word comedy behind you, like hanging off a drape, and people are just looking at you going, "It's sort of impressive you can rhyme like for 3 minutes, but it's not funny." And then you go, "I need to land punchlines." So trying to go from making it impressive to making it funny was a huge step for me. And now I think I normally land punchlines at a consistent rate. But
Yeah.
sometimes the punchlines will just float away in the flotsam and jetsam of like my conscience. But then I'll just try and loop back, cover it, do it with confidence and commitment, and try and land it the next time.
yeah. So is there any like you obviously you were saying you get like the same suggestions quite a lot. So is
Yeah.
there like a rhyme that you do that's maybe off the cuff, and then you go, "Oh, that was a belter. If that comes up again, I'm going to keep that in the back pocket."
Oh yeah, there's like a couple of like objects people will always hold up when I'm rhyming with random objects. And if people hold up a train ticket, it's just an open goal. if someone's holding up a train ticket, and I'll be like, yeah, that's right. On the beats I mingle. This ticket's like me, adult, single.
That's good.
And that
yeah.
train ticket that gag has lasted 4 separate relationships. But it's like, well, I'm not gonna avoid taking the shot. But equally,
But did that start off? Was that genuinely improv to begin with,
Yeah.
or was that like a thing you're like, if this comes up, I can. slot that?
99% of them like were freestyled in the moment and have gone back and codified it and gone, that'll be useful, that's good. But it's still, even in clubs, it's like 70% made up on the spot. But there's just a handful of belters. I'm like, if someone shouts out supercalifragilisticexpialidocious as a word, for instance, which comes up every other gig, I'm like, all right, I've got the rhyme for that. Now it's so blatant. Now I've taken to telling audience members in rhyme, this has come up before and I'm going to do it, and this is it. There you go.
What do you rhyme with that?
I do the razzmatazz with mystic sexy raps ferocious, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Yeah. Not my first rodeo with the old Mary Poppins bullshit.
That thing where you get people to get their objects out and you go around the room rapping and stuff like that is one of the things that, like, again, just sets a room alight. What is like the weirdest shit or the most unusual stuff people have given you to rhyme about as objects?
I once had in the Admiral Bar in Glasgow, I had a packaged diorama of every single Disney princess because it was Christmas. And so they'd just done their Christmas shopping for their daughter, I presume.
hell.
And some rhyme with every single princess. Wasn't funny, but I enjoyed it. I've had a lot of cocaine and ecstasy held up, especially in
Really?
Rotunda. R.I.P.
It's weird that place is shut down.
There was Graham Mackey was
Was that a gig for the staff as well?
you know what I mean?
But I can imagine that because usually when they hold it up, you'll take it off them to show everybody. I imagine they get really aggressive if you try and take their bag of cocaine
Well,
off
yeah.
them.
So like Graham Mackey was comparing a night he was doing years ago, and he was like, the running gag about the guy in the front row was, he's dealing gear, ha ha ha. And then I get up to rhyme with objects, and the first thing he holds up is like a bag of MDMA, and I'm like, oh fuck, no, this is literally MDMA. This is holy fuck, this is white powder. This could be coke. And
I
like,
mean, if there's anyone that'd be a less conspicuous undercover policeman, well, it'd be fucking you. You're under arrest!
hello, greetings, fellow children. And so you can see the bar staff at the back doing this, like, fuck, don't.
Yeah.
So again, no wonder it got shut down.
Fucking hell. It's like, that is pretty brazen. Surely they would obviously get kicked out.
Yeah.
For showing up at like.
Yeah, it was the end of the gig. It was
hope
wrapping
so.
up with
I
that, and they got escorted out pretty quickly, was my understanding. Also did that Stourbridge gig. Have you done that? It's in a shed.
Nah.
Bit like this.
Stourbridge?
Yeah, it's
We're
in a
talking
big,
about this studio?
yeah, my apologies. It's a bigger shed, just 100 capacity venue. But was doing that just as like a mixed bill night. And a guy comes in. So he's standing by the bar in an anorak, clearly hasn't bought a ticket. I'm like, I'm going to rhyme with objects. And he holds up this 12-inch black ribbed dildo that he didn't know was there, didn't know I was going to rap with objects. He just had it in a Morrison's bag. I'm like, fair play, man. You got to respect it if you're wandering around with that.
A Morrison's.
I didn't know they sold that kind of thing.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah. Just
I'll
next to the
hide
dairy
this
aisle.
big 12-inch dildo, they'll think I've been to Ann Summers. I'll put a Morrison's bag on it.
They'll never
Stick it up
know.
a baguette.
Exactly. So those are probably the weirdest things they've had held up. Yeah.
Well, speaking of raps, sure, can we get you to do one? Is
Right.
it about time? Is it
Absolutely.
about
I
damn
think so.
time?
So
Damn time.
when Steve and I were chatting about doing this podcast, he was like, well, I want to make you some beats and collaborate. So I'm going to rap over one of your beats at the end of this, I reckon. I was just
Okay.
telling you boys before. For this, I'm going to lean down and pick up my speaker. My
I
good
like the
friend...
speaker.
Was
It's
this
like a
produced by
lantern.
DJ Cash, was it?
Yeah.
The one at the end is
The one at
DJ
the end
Cash?
is a DJ Cash original.
Okay.
This one is made by my good mate, Derek Dempowitz. There we go. Shout out Demco Beats, Demco Music. He's a very good rapper and beat maker. And when I was, I felt like I sort of have to come on a podcast and rap a lot of the time. Because I don't do podcasts a lot, but I feel like I probably should because you talk about it and you can feel like you don't come to a dancing monkey for a TED talk. You know what I mean? Like, you still want to do it. And I thought, well, I'll write a gangster rap. I initially, when writing this, was like, maybe I'll write the new Some Laugh theme tune. That'll be fun.
that's
But then I wrote something that was 2 minutes long and all about me. So it's entirely unfit for purpose. So what I've done as a gift to you
Oh,
boys,
we'll be
for-
the judge of that.
we'll see.
We could maybe use it as the theme tune for your episode.
That'll be fun.
perhaps.
That'll be fun.
But then that would
It's
spoil
best
it.
spoil
the
it.
outro.
Yeah.
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 Again,
maybe
a terrible idea. And so I thought, what I do is I write the sort of gangster raps I normally do. I write a gangster rap in my own style, which is very braggadocious, dick swinging, I've got a gun, which I find funny because I'm such a feeble man. But I would do it.
Check out the video if you just listen to the audio.
yeah.
Adds a lot.
Hello, radiating this specky accountant aesthetic. And, what I thought I'd do is write you boys a rap, which was the normal sort of gangster raps I do, but inspired by the Some Laugh podcast. So I've tried to name check all three of you and get some running gags from the podcast into this as well.
Great.
So let's see if we can play this.
This is our first ever live performance, by the way.
It's great.
Live in
like-
session.
It's like how the fucking
Live
live
lounge.
lounge or something.
Yeah. It's like me gigging. I always feel like, well, if my patch is shit, at least I've got a rap. You know? Okay, let's see if this works first of all. What? Yeah.
Nice.
I would say I wrote this last night, by the way, so the flow is going to be perfect. Okay, a gift for you guys. Here we go. Check 1, 2. It's MC Hammersmith. I drop bars, a rap inspired by the Some Laugh podcast. Gangster rapping so tight. I wrote this in like 30 minutes last night. Yeah, I rap for the population. Middle class gangsters, the combination. A posh boy rhyming is so odd. That's a bad cocktail. Hawaiian blowjob. Yeah, red hot rhymes I inspire. Every word and spit in here is literally fire. Bringing so much heat with the goods and blazing. I burn the house down like Steve when he's cooking bacon. Yeah, words scorching explicit. Bars so hot I get a fire safety visit. Rappers so astonished by my rhyming turmoil. They're all like, what's come under the foil? Yeah, and I've got a gun, it's true. Said I'll open the can just like Iron Brew. Sweet with the bars like the drink you devour. What's up, Iron Brew? Sponsor them, you cowards. Yeah, rapping is a piece of cake. But I read my comments and some people hate. So rappers who do not believe I'm really great, they can bend over, kiss my ass like Mark when he was 8. Yeah, my raps are delicious. My freestyle shit is too vicious. I've name checked Mark and Stevie, you see. Now here's tenuous wordplay for Some Laugh at 3. Boys, I'm a big shagger, I guess. I've had sex with so many celebs. Famous ladies love to get me wooden. I even shagged the actress who played Catwoman in 1992, that Batman movie. She said, loan me down, Hammersmith and do me. Yeah, thing that didn't happen, stupid person. I laid back Pfeiffer, Stu McPherson. Yeah, my wordplay raw. And if you're listening, I also shagged Jamal. She said, we can have some fun, fight my hole and hit that. 4 fingers in her rolls like a rolling Kit Kat. Yeah, that's the way that I bust. Every microphone that I rock turns to dust. I like to imagine I'm quite dank. Sick as bars ever dropped in a shed in Clydebank. Boys, it's a blast. Hope you've enjoyed all the rhymes I've dispensed. And if this is your first time listening to this podcast, none of this rap will have made any fucking sense.
Wow,
Beautiful.
great.
Amazing.
Fantastic
Very good.
work.
gift.
Love it.
That
gift.
was fantastic.
Thank you very much.
superb.
Very
Loved it.
hardcore.
Very
Hardcore
good.
vibes.
That is basically the first ever fan art we've had.
The only thing is, I said 4 fingers in her rolls like a rolling Kit Kat. The line is 4 fingers in her buns like a rolling Kit Kat. You can't say
Oh, well.
rolls twice.
I mean, it's worked. It still
It
works.
still
Wow.
works. Still good shit.
Amazing.
That was great
good.
fun.
I mean, that was. I don't know where we go from there. That was
Yeah,
fantastic.
We have
Do
to
you
say
went
we're
to private
back
school,
in
Will?
I had freestyle rap writing classes in between triple Latin. Yeah. What I did for that is I went down your Instagram and your TikTok and tried to
Yeah.
find the videos with the biggest views and go, all right, so what's the funniest moments in this? Because I've listened to the podcast numerous times before. So many of our esteemed comedy friends and colleagues have been on it as well.
Yes.
But going, okay, so it's probably rolling Kit Kat, probably Hawaiian blowjob, probably
What's come under the boil?
Yes, what's
Yeah.
come under the boil.
Absolutely.
Probably try and use Michelle Pfeiffer and the fact that Stu is a Pfeiffer.
That's good.
There's
Yeah,
tenuous
you did
wordplay
your-
there.
I
Did your
didn't know
homework.
where you were going with that.
At
but I
first we
enjoyed
thought
it.
just you're accusing Stu of being a mad shagger.
Yeah, I was trying to think what celebrities
sound
I've
like
shagged that would be notable enough to be this.
He's a laid-back Pfeiffer. I
there
think the
we
best
go.
punchlines take 8 bars to explain. No, absolutely fine.
But even after that, I was like, "Did you shag Michelle Pfeiffer?"
Well, for a
Don't
second,
tell
I was wondering myself. Yeah.
It
felt good,
The
just-
punchline was good. Is that it was still confused by it.
That was great.
Yeah.
Very. I've heard that you met up, took a tour with the Russo brothers.
Oh, I did. Yeah,
Is
I
that
spoke
right?
about this on Jane Amelia's podcast. Yeah,
that blew
I'd-
my mind. Sorry, you've already
Who
spoken.
No, it's
are
all
they
good.
again? Just
We can
The
repeat
Marvel
stories.
film directors.
All right.
Make all the Marvel movies.
Yes, they were in Edinburgh directing Infinity War. And I was still an open spot as MC Hammersmith at the time, so was doing as many private tours as I could. And this private tour came through and they went, it's for a Hollywood director, it's the Avengers. I went, you're fucking kidding. What? I want to be Iron Man. So went up, and their kids were like super lovely. They brought their wives, super lovely. They were on their phones the entire time because they're very busy, which is understandable.
Yeah.
And then because they're directing Infinity War that evening, they closed off Cockburn Street for it, and it'd gone pretty well. Got to the end and was like. How's the end? Oh yeah, got to the end and went, if you enjoyed the tour, my name is Will. If you hated it, my name was Deborah. Ha ha ha. And then this guy just comes out of nowhere and just goes, why are you talking so much crap, you fucking cunt? At the top of his lungs in front of his 8-year-old kids. I'm like, oh no. Joe Russo was like, a real Slytherin, huh? Nice one. Very nice, very nice. I just saw today he's opened a restaurant in Edinburgh, Joe Russo.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Spurred on by that wonderful experience I gave him in Edinburgh. He's opened a bar in Newtown, a restaurant.
really?
He's like invested in it. Yeah.
And someone's just like, why are you serving all this crap? You cunt?
Same guy.
Yeah.
It's good to get that authentic Scottish experience into it. It's
Yeah.
good when
Yeah.
you can just like. It's funny how like you go about and like with the tours and stuff, and you're trying to show them the nice parts, and occasionally you will just the reality will creep.
Can't
up.
help
cream,
them
yeah,
coming
yeah.
up to you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
I mean,
funny.
do you get that quite a lot, like outside
Being called a
hecklers?
cunt.
Or like,
I
or
get
like
people shouting Harry Potter stuff at me in the street, even when like they don't know me from the show or haven't taken my tour,
Right,
just because of
yeah,
the way I look. So like, I was in Shrewsbury doing a gig, and was walking to the gig, and then someone went, "Wingardium Leviosa!" Like, Accio, fuck off.
How close to the experience of Hogwarts is it going to private school?
Well, I went to day school, so I didn't get to stay overnight, sadly.
Right.
But I mean, there's not as much death as there is in Harry Potter.
No.
Yeah, you don't see like a changeover and stuff. I mean, it is weird, private school.
do you
It's
get
really weird.
do you get a bad house and a good house, and then two other ones that people don't
yeah,
really
yeah.
care about?
Yeah, you got the one for the brave students, one for the evil students, the clever students, and everyone else. Yeah, like
What's the weirdest part about it then? If it's so weird?
the weirdest part about it is probably the immense like privilege that you're soaked in, and you're sort of like, and now I'm a liberal sweetheart, don't get me wrong, but it was a very like Tory sort of upbringing. And then you find all these people that just are entrenched in these like ways of life, like the only career is like a hedge fund manager or a doctor or something. Weirdly though, my dad had like a bypass operation on his heart last year, and he was totally fine. But he rang me.
Sounds
He
a bit
went,
like you becoming a liberal.
yeah.
Heart bypass, am I right?
No idea what you're
Where's
talking
the
about.
fucking beat there?
I come with fly bars, liberal, like a heart bypass. Get it? Because you're
Yeah.
it's like my cruise ship gigs.
It's harder than he makes it look.
So my dad rang me. He went, "You'll never guess who my surgeon is." And I went, "Oh no!" And it was a guy who was in my year at school. He went, "Yeah, he literally saved my life." So that's interesting. That
fucking
he's got
hell.
those skills. I went, "Yeah, I get it." yeah.
How's the cruise ship?
There was of all the things at private school, like mostly they were like obviously very homogenous and put you down a very entrenched sort of privilege route. One thing I did enjoy was the banter with the teachers was quite good. You could chat to them like you were your mates, and like you just spend so much contact time academically. You got to know them, but then you push it too far and they push it too far. Like one of the I think funniest, but one of the most abrasive things a teacher's ever said to me is, this was Dr. Ashford, was doing my Latin homework. Or rather, hadn't done the Latin homework, quite crucially. So in class, he's like, "Name, any thoughts on the comprehension?" I went, "I've not read it, sir." And he goes, "Why not?" I said, "It's boring, innit?" And he went, "Well, it's not boring, though, isn't it, Name? I mean, all very fun, but it's not boring, it's Latin." I went, "Nah, it's boring, though, isn't it?" Everyone's laughing, all having a bit of back and forth, and this is pretty normal. He goes, "But it's not boring, though, is it, Name?" I went, "It's a bit boring, sir." He went, "Do you really think your cock is bigger than mine, Name? Because we can whip them out, put them on the OHP and compare them."
Fucking hell.
I went, "No, sir, don't think it's bigger." Apologies, I'm 17.
Yeah, I wonder what would have happened if you actually pushed them to see.
I know, right?
Like, yeah.
So I had a few moments like that where I'm like,
Did you get sacked for that, or is that encouraged at this kind of place?
it was like early noughties, so I don't think there was sensitivity training back then. I think it was actively encouraged. But,
Right.
It was in the OHP era.
yeah,
Do you think
exactly.
for you, if you did stay overnight, you would have seen how big his
Yeah,
cock
very
was?
true, very true. Yeah. Well, there was a fair amount of that, I'm sure. yeah.
Was this?
Yeah.
Are you from Hammersmith?
Yeah. Born and bred in Hammersmith.
So is that where it was school in London? As
In
well?
Hammersmith, yeah. And then moved to Edinburgh when I was 18 because went up for uni and then found improv and was like, I'm making pennies from this, but my troop's up here and like my mates are up here and my job's up here. I might as well stay. And then realised, like Edinburgh's awesome, Scotland's great, and get to gig in Glasgow and Edinburgh in places, and London's full of posh wanks, so it's too expensive. So just stuck around here ever
Thought
since.
you'd
I love it.
You'd stick out more here.
Yeah.
It's a niche here. It's not.
That's very true. That's very true. Because you do find that if I walk on stage in Glasgow looking and sounding like this, which is what I look and sound like anyway, I'll like go out and like they instantly judge you, rightfully so.
Yeah.
Like going back to Rotunda, it's the only place where people have shouted briefcase wanker at me before I've got to the mic. so there is a lot of that. But yeah. I call it the Susan Boyle effect. If you really lower their expectations and you look like you don't have the skill that you do, then you only need to do like an adequate job and you'll still get hopefully a good reaction.
That's a good
And
point. Yeah,
definitely when I started, I coasted by on the impressiveness of this. And speaking to Chris Turner, who's another great like white boy freestyle rapper, and he's in the States now, but he was saying to me, he was like, oh yeah, I headlined way before I was ready. And I went, same here. Like
Yeah.
I had to close nights because it's a musical and it's loud and it's tough to follow.
Yeah.
It's like, we're starting a rave and now a guy speaking. Like, it's quite difficult. So
Did it all happen pretty quick then when you started doing sets?
no. I when I found the ability to land punchlines, then it happened pretty quickly.
Right.
For the first year, I was just dancing about, doing like, I was just out of uni, was still doing student comedy nights and stuff like that, and it's the only place I would get stage time. And like, I was like, I'm a year too old to be here, but I'm still here doing it. And like, if you gig at a student night, it's so easy because they're all your mates are mates, they're all like students, and they're happily like give you a huge round of applause. And then you go to Red Raw in Glasgow doing 5, and you're like, oh fuck, I have to be funny. So after about a year of trying to figure out how to land punchlines, then it happened, I think, like relatively quickly. I'd already been doing improv for 10 years, so I could stand on stage and speak and knew at least how to be approximately funny. But
Yeah.
it's not the same as stand-up, which I've learned the hard way. Not the same.
There's not a lot of people who do what you do. You had mentioned Chris Turner
Yeah.
there, and Abandoned Man's another one.
Yeah,
have
Rob's
you ever,
great.
Have you ever been on the same bill as one of them? And you're like, oh fuck.
Rob and I did a improv show together, but he was doing his set and Spontaneous Potter were also doing a set. So we
Right.
chatted afterwards, and great guy, lovely to meet him and stuff, and really enjoyed getting far too drunk and trying to freestyle rap in the basement of Whistle Binkies. I was on the bill as Chris Turner, and it was, have you ever done those things at the Fringe, which are those Janice Forsyth or afternoon shows where they're
yeah.
recorded at like 9 a.m. in
Yeah.
front of an audience of old bastards? My mortal nemesis.
I done the Basil Brush show, and it was basically that.
Yeah. yeah,
What's up, motherfuckers?
Boom, boom goes my gun.
Why am I up, motherfuckers?
Why am I up, motherfuckers? So was on a bill there with Chris, and we were like, we'll each do a freestyle rap. I'll do random words, you do objects, or vice versa. We figured it out. But Chris is great at freestyling without swearing because he came up doing improv in Oxford with a troupe that only does family-friendly performances. So he wasn't able to swear when he first started. When I first started, I was swearing all the time, partly because it's a gangster rap trope, but also because it is very much like a fear response when you're nervous and you first start. So
Yeah.
now it's ingrained, and I say motherfucker every other word. And so trying to do a family-friendly set in front of like all these old people at 9 a.m.
You say
when I-
mother fudger or something?
Motherfudger. I did say, can I say flip and gosh? And they went, we actually have to tone it down from there. I'm like, you are fucking kidding me. So he wrapped circles around me. It was just like his absolute comfort zone, just like being hilarious, family friendly without swearing. And I was dancing on hot coals the entire time, trying not to say shit and piss and fuck.
When was it from doing improv that you decided to do the rap stuff?
I think it was, I remember it was an improvised musical we did in Prague for the Prague Fringe, and it got to verse, chorus, then it got to the bridge, and one of our troupe members was like, well, instead of like just like singing the bridge, why don't we rap it? Because rapping bridges are a big thing, like especially in pop songs. I was like, yeah, give it a go. And we all fucking sucked, obviously.
Was it like sort of old school rap, like hit the
My
the-
name
hit
is
the
Steve,
beat?
and I'm here to say.
Yeah, all
like
that
it's
stuff.
generated by AI. I'm here to party in a friendly way. Didn't even rhyme, there was no flow, and I went, why is this so difficult? So looked it up and started seeing freestylers like MC Supernatural, MC Juice, and now, of course, Harry Mack. And just what they're doing online is incredible.
Harry Mack's great, man.
Yeah. And all they're doing is just practicing and practicing and practicing for years behind the scenes, learning thousands of words that rhyme, listening to hip hop and rap music, digesting it, and
Rhymezone.com.
yeah.
Well,
love
this
it.
is. I was actually just
My
going
homepage.
to. I was going to ask, like, so see, part of the research for being a rapper, like, because I guess before the internet and all that, like, you literally would, I don't know, you'd sit with a dictionary or something, maybe.
Yeah.
But it's like, do you literally just go, like, look at lists of words that rhyme with each other
Yeah.
and figure it all out, so it's in your head
Yeah.
when it comes up?
So I've been doing this for about 10 or 11 years now, but I have a note on my phone, which is about 15,000 words long at this point, and it's very psychopathically organized. It's very OCD of me, quite literally, but it has loads and loads of different rhymes that I've written in different orders, just ordered them by rhyme, and yeah, been writing it for, I think, 10, 11 years now, and that's my rhyming dictionary, so the cameras can pick it up, but if I scroll to like a random part of it, it's like hygiene, ice cream, rhyme scheme, crime scene, lime green, widescreen, live stream. And then if I remember those and it comes up, I've got so many options at my fingertips. Like
wow.
Sunday, Monday, subway, runway, birthday, earthquake, Thursday, wordplay,
Wow.
butter kissed, chopper chips. It's not great. Head fuck, Greg's nut. When that comes up, the day that comes up, and I thought this was over preparing. And then I did a gig rapping with people's objects. It was in London, and I just learned the previous day the scheme: hardcore, passport, Star Wars, cart door, darts board, parkour. I went, none of this is ever going to come up. When are we going to learn that passport rhymes with Star Wars? And was rapping in the gig. Somebody held up his passport, and his name was George Lucas. I went, you are fucking kidding me. Star Wars passport? Oh my God. And since then...
Please tell when this guy jumps off buildings.
Tell me he's eating ice cream. Delicious, sweet ice cream. So yeah, since then I'm like, well, there's no such thing as being overprepared. And then in the moments where I noticed, thank God I remembered that rhyme, thank God I learned it, it gets you out of a tight situation.
Yeah.
So,
That's amazing. Like, so, oh fuck, I just done a Jennings. I
Aye.
completely forgot.
Actually,
about
I
that.
remembered what I was going to say earlier on, by the
Yeah.
way, and it was this is how shit it was. I was just thinking,
Still going for it.
because the Harry Potter gigs you do, it must be the only thing, almost the only thing other than football where people turn up wearing scarves.
God, that is good. That is good. Yeah.
Put that into that earlier.
I reckon a lot of those old biddies in Kirkcudbright or whatever were probably wearing scarves as well.
Yeah, that's very true.
You know, just keep it warm.
Yeah.
This is such a basic question that you must get all the time, but do you ever just blank?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. But I think I'm quite good, or at least I hope I'm quite good now at covering it up. So if I'm freestyling stuff and going like, yeah, that's right, I bring the slaughter, I've got flow, like this bottle of water, and then I'm trying to keep rapping about the bottle, but like I just blank, I'll just use filler. So filler is just stuff you could put anywhere, and it still sounds good and sounds generically rap music or hip hop. So it covers your tracks, but really I'm doing that to buy myself thinking time, to think, what's the next thing here? So I'll be like, yeah, that's right, straight off the dome, while I spit this here on the microphone. I grab the mic, you know I rock hot. Ladies like this, they get their tops off. As I flip the bottle open, you know.
Right.
So that's just thinking
So like
time.
you'll do
good
like
that.
a line of just filler, and then you get to the. Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
So if you ever see me
Stalling, but
going,
still.
Yeah.
that's right, that's what I said, don't you understand? In a rap, it's like he's trying to think of something.
He's buffering.
Yeah, he's
I'm
buffering.
always
Yeah.
surprised though, like, because sometimes something will happen and it'll literally be like the next line you're
Yeah.
already referencing. I'm like, fuck, that was quick. Like, it's really quick off the
Thanks. I call it mental currency. And like if I have a lot of mental currency in my bank account and I'm relaxed and I'm chill, it'd be very easy to like see something, set up the rhyme for it and go bang, bang, and just lock it in place. If I'm stressed, if I'm nervous, if the text's bad or whatever, or more often than not, if I've just depleted my mental currency, chaining rhymes back to back, going set up, punchline, set up, punchline, set up, punchline. My mental currency will be quite depleted. I'll need that extra half second to reset myself.
I can imagine it must be very difficult if you're, say, overtired or hungover or something.
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
Have you ever had to do it then? And is that ever have you ever just really
Oh, yeah.
seen the difference? In,
Like I really don't drink anymore, like at all. But when it was an open spot and was like socializing a lot more with comics and going out and drinking a lot more, and I lived close to the center of town as well, the excuse would be, oh, let's have some beers or whatever. And then you'd wake up very hungover and you'd have an afternoon gig at Wild Cabaret on the Saturday. Christ, trying to freestyle as your brain is like just like a sponge and you're trying to squeeze it and nothing is coming out. Like alcohol and improv don't mix. Although there are shows in, I think they're in LA, where they do an improv show where it is a third of the performers are sober, a third of them are drunk, and a third of them are high. And that sounds like fun.
That's
Like when you
cool.
sell the concept to them, that sounds fun. Yeah.
Like that shit-faced Shakespeare kind of thing.
Ah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, and applies to everything except alcohol.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Please, yes, and responsibly.
I met the Shitface Shakespeare guys because I was doing the Leicester Square Theatre last year, and they were the show right before me. And I thought it was a gimmick. I thought they pretended to get drunk. But then this woman comes into my dressing room in Victorian dress, or like Elizabethan rather. I'm like, oh, you must be one of the cast. And she's like, hey, sorry, didn't know you're here. You want to get some water from the fridge? I went, thanks. She goes, you're a comedian. I went, I am. She goes, oh, that's so cool. Is rubbing my face. I'm like, oh, I see. Oh, sorry. And as I'm backing away, this guy comes in and goes like, Jessica, get on stage. Sorry. I go, okay, they are absolutely fucking steaming.
That's amazing, isn't it?
yeah.
I
very
would
funny.
love to do that one day. Just
Yeah.
like,
So much fun. Just get pissed and just annoy your friends. It'd be great. I know.
Yeah.
See with your tunes as well, because one thing I've always wondered is because there's certain ones that kind of come to a crescendo,
Yeah.
like the song, but like there must be sometimes depending on what happens in the room where it has to last longer than before it does. Does the track never just run out if it takes too long?
There are times when I felt that track should have been longer. Like I haven't quite got to the point yet.
Right.
So now I rap with like a looper on my laptop. So it just loops a section, the beat. Then when I'm done, I'll press a button about 8 bars before it, and then I'll hear a musical cue to cue me that the ending's coming. And if you can stick the landing, it looks amazing. If you flub the landing, it sort of fucks the rest of the rap you've just done.
That
It's like,
makes sense because
yeah.
I've seen it last different lengths of time, and you
Yeah.
always still end in that same crescendo. So I was always
That's good,
wondered how you done
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I'm trying to DJ and do it at the same time. So I work with musicians and stuff, but they're never quite in sync with you, I've found. I've worked with beatboxers as well. I'm going to Amsterdam in July to do a show with like the best beatboxer in the Netherlands. I can't remember his name because I only found out about it 2 days ago, but I'm well excited. It should be great.
I remember when we were in Australia, I think it was 2020, and you were doing a lot of the rap battles there, weren't you?
Oh yeah, the Comedy Lounge in Perth.
Aye.
That was wild because it was the best of Australian hip hop, which is, says a lot. The best of West Australian hip hop, even. And then, so it was them versus comedians. And
Yeah.
the rappers couldn't freestyle, but it's a freestyle rap show. And they're
and
there
you're also funny.
in a dream world. Again, let's not make promises we can't keep. But in a dream world, it's funny. And so just to be able to set up and land a punchline, like, it blows people away just in comparison to people just dancing around a beat and not getting to the point. There was this one routine which I don't know if I would do, like 'cause it's a bit icky, where you get a woman from the crowd, you get 8 blokes to surround her, so it's already a bit like this is weird. And they're like, okay, we're going to take it in turns, and we're going to find out what you do for a living, and they're going to give you some rhyming chat-up lines. It's like, okay, it's pantomimed and fun, but still, like, the dynamic's a bit off. And I can't remember what this woman did. She like ran her own motorsports thing, some sort of motorsports thing she was in, and people going, yeah, I burn rubber inside you, or this sort of thing. And like, she seemed fine and comfortable, but it was still like, so how do you subvert this? And I was like, okay, here's my chat up line. Here is a twist this. I think you're really cool because I respect women in business. Like, if you subvert it like that, then like people go, oh my God, it's not just shite patter and isn't, not rhyming in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun to subvert it and have the confidence to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
'Cause I mean, there used to be the rap battles at the stand in Glasgow, and me and Jennings done.
We done on that.
We done a one, but even with that, we had time to prepare for it,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I couldn't even remember my own fucking
tough.
rap that I'd come up with.
yeah.
I'd written and rehearsed. So like, you must just blow cunts away when it comes to something like that.
Yeah, I'll put that on the poster. Blowing cunts away. yeah. It's I think that people don't expect a skinny white boy to be able to freestyle. And it's because I love hip hop and rap music. But you're quite like a hip hop head, right?
Yeah, well, I was going to ask, like, what's your sort of influences in hip hop?
Because did you listen to it when you were like growing up? And
Yeah. First, like, fast rap I listened to was actually more of a drum and bass track, and it was Akala's Comedy Tragedy History. And this is so nerdy and private school and dorky, but it is a rap he did trying to name check every Shakespeare play and a bunch of Shakespeare quotes based off a freestyle he did on like Radio 1. And I was like, when I heard it, I went, and it's so fast, and I can still do every word of it. And it's just like, he rhymes every Shakespeare play, and it was based on something he improvised, and it blew my mind. And from that, started listening to like,
That's what
obviously-
got you into rap?
yeah,
That's amazing.
It's like a fast, nerdy drum and bass track. And then, like, obviously heard Eminem when I was like 11, and in the playground, everyone was like bumping Eminem. And now, like, my favorite rapper is probably Big L, who's very punchline oriented, like rapper from the 90s is amazing. MC Supernatural, MC Juice, because they're great freestylers, and Ari the Rugged Man is great as well, because he's like a rhyme merchant. And yeah, if it's fast, if it's rhyme dense, and if it's funny, then I'm a big fan of it. If it's slow, auto-tuned mumble rap bullshit, I don't know about you guys, I'm not a fan.
No.
No,
Yeah.
You don't mind a bit of
I
mumble
don't
rap?
mind a bit of mumble rap now and
Yeah.
again.
Earl Sweatshirt.
Lil Yachty.
Yeah, nah, not quite. Errol Switch. I don't know if you can quite. Is he full mumble rap? Sometimes, maybe.
He's mumble.
He mumbles sometimes and he raps.
What about, did you like Twista back in the day?
Oh, yeah.
Make you a celebrity overnight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he originally was Mr. Tongue Twister and then shortened it to Twister. And there is one track called Mr. Tongue Twister that I'm pretty sure it's him. I think that's his old rap name, where it is just so fast. It's just like the speed of sounds, the fastest rap I've ever heard. And it's just, and that was like late 80s, early 90s.
Was that
So-
not his gimmick though, or his thing? He was like,
Yeah.
I'm the fastest rapper alive.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
He's a
But-
fast
but
boy.
Is Busta not maybe faster? I would say. No?
Don't know. Think
Busta Rhymes.
Think
Ever
there was
heard of him?
Oh, Mr. Rhymes to his friends. yeah.
Buster who, sorry. Keating?
He's Buster Mimes.
That's very good.
That's good.
That's
That's
good.
good.
Come on,
you.
this is good stuff.
Cheers.
That is good. Fair play.
Fair play to the boy. And am I right in thinking that you've also written and recorded raps that aren't freestyles? You've like
Yeah, so the content I put online is all scripted. I put some freestyles up, but because I'd often only have the opportunity to record it, the freestyles in comedy clubs, often because it's quite, again, punchline focused rather than like free form and just freewheeling, I found that I might burn through some of those. This is my train ticket, adult single. I might burn through some of those punchlines. I don't really want to put them online. So I found that if I can control it and like polish like the best rap I can, it's fun to be like, "Hello, my name's Will. I'm just a specky wee virgin. Can I do a rap, please?" And then do the sort of raps I normally do, which allows an abrasive and aggressive. And the switch I find is what hooks people in.
Yeah.
I've done stuff without a switch and where it's just me rapping and it doesn't get anywhere near as much engagement. I think you have to bait people into thinking you're going to be really shit and
Yeah.
then surprise them with adequacy.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Susan Boyle
yeah.
comparison.
Does she post on TikTok? Boily?
She's not a great rapper.
I see to drop any bars in Bathgate. yeah.
She drops into a few in Bathgate.
Very good. Yeah. But I don't know, you've put a lot of content out, all three of you, and like have you found that there's a strategy that works particularly? For me, it's like a hook in the first second is what like
Right.
Yeah,
does it bit.
I have found actually, I don't know nowadays, but a few years ago I found that like the more lo-fi the video looked, I found done better because people weren't like the Susan Boyle thing.
Yeah.
People weren't expecting as much from it. See if you put a lot of like
Yeah.
fucking
Having said that, you've just
Yeah.
had a
production.
successful one
Well, yeah,
that looks
that-
really good.
I think it's starting to change a bit now, but this is maybe a few years ago. But
Yeah.
like if there used to be production value in it and it wasn't that good, then people would kind of cringe.
Yeah.
But if it's just clearly you've done it in your house and it's taken like 10 minutes and they're like, oh, it's quite funny, I'll give it a like or a share or whatever.
It's
Yeah.
more relatable kind of thing.
Yeah.
Particularly during lockdown and stuff as well, I think, because it was like everybody was in that scenario maybe. But
Yeah.
I try and just not think about that too much. Maybe I probably should, but I think like if you can just try and put stuff out that's good and then, you know, hopefully just catch the right thing. And there's part of it is like when we do the clips for this, like we tend to just have the title of what it's about. Most
Yeah.
of the time, again, just as a wee hook to go, oh, what they talk about fucking Brayhead or whatever, like something like that. But like,
I've
which
got
I
to see that.
which, well, genuinely, that is one of the ones
Really?
that done really well. Like,
Globally viral.
anything about anything that's about Glasgow or Scottish often
Yeah.
will do really well.
that makes sense.
With a Scottish audience, so.
Aye, but I mean, like, so that clip Thomas Green was talking about coming back to fucking Dumbarton and he's mobbing
Yeah.
for Glasgow, and that done like really, really well. And like,
Yeah.
as I say, that Brayhead one with Paul and stuff like so. It's because I think often the better clips don't always do as well, but anytime there is a Glasgow thing,
Should we try and make one now that can go viral?
Cynically.
Yeah, cynical Glasgow.
improv on the spot.
Yeah, I'll
Glasgow.
try and bait them.
The squinty bridge.
Now, boys, what's the deal with Renfrew?
It's too close to Brayhead. Say someone else.
Okay.
How can it
Covered
be
all the
the
territory.
shitey rap about, tips off and putting a cone on the head of the...
You could
Oh, yeah.
easily
That
do
would
that.
easily
Yeah.
easily do numbers.
Like-
Yeah.
Yeah.
A rap a confused English guy in Glasgow.
I'll tell you what, why don't we, when we wrap things up, why don't you give me the most shite Scottish patter words you can? And then I'll try and freestyle every single one of them.
Wow.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you've seen my old routine.
Yeah. So what's like? Would you mean like ball bag or whatever? Or
Yeah, and
that-
like I get those a lot in Glasgow gigs. They could be
Yeah.
heckles,
Because
admittedly.
they think you won't know what that means.
Yeah. I remember I did a gig in the prison.
Aye.
Yeah,
I've never.
I done
Wouldn't
Pullman
thank you
Young
for
Offenders.
I did
No.
Greenock prison.
No thanks.
Why?
Why?
No. Well.
Well,
yeah.
why?
Why?
The
Why?
£45 mark.
Yeah. I imagine that must have been doing well.
Well, like, I mean, there's all the old gags like talk about a captive audience and everything, but like I was like words to rhyme with, and I hadn't long like been doing it. So like they're shouting words like Bobby, like ball bag, like all this stuff, and I'm like, I'm sorry, what does this mean? I've lived in Scotland for a while, but Edinburgh, so I've not heard this wonderful vocabulary. And then I was trying to rap with objects. I went, okay, everyone hold up. Oh, fuck.
A shank.
Yeah. They don't have pockets. All they have is shanks. So, like, the guy's, like, passing me, like...
toothbrush.
Yeah,
stuff
you're not
from-
getting your cocaine out of your pocket.
Pulling things at their arse.
Mobile phone.
Suspiciously, like, file saw-shaped birthday cake. So the guy who, like, was one of the wardens, I guess, was, like, passing me stuff from the staff room. So I'm rapping with, like, milk, tea bag, spoon. It's like, not quite as fun or as impressive.
But it's still be impressive. I mean, yeah, it's you've got to work with what you've got.
This is very true. Yeah.
Do you want to? I mean, how long have we done? Do you want
55.
55? Are you wanting to do your rap
do it.
just now? Yeah,
Let's do it. Tell you what, give me the most, like, let's see if we can bait this into a viral video. Posh Boy raps with Scottish words.
Right.
Let's see if it works.
Let's get some out of. Where's my phone?
There is a trick to it because I put this on Instagram yesterday, but my mate on a burner account that he plays golf and posts the other thing, it's like got 50 fucking followers.
I saw
And he did
this.
like it's just,
It's you looking at a golf ball, right?
yeah, it's got 150,000 views. It's the most viewed thing I've ever done.
That's insane.
But it's because he put a question in the thing and the
Yeah.
thumbnail was
People
good or
commenting
something,
on it.
and he's like bamming them up in the comments.
Yeah.
That's all it is, and it's complete shite, waste of everyone's time.
Yeah.
But this is what the algorithm wants, is just
Yeah.
total horseshit.
yeah.
So
See if we can make that. We can bait people. What do you think these words mean? Comment with your guesses below. Do you have an app for Scottish slang? What do you do?
Or should it
I'm just
be?
doing Scottish words. I'm just googling
Oh,
Scottish
it's googling
words.
Scottish words.
I mean,
Glasgow
should
words.
it be Scottish?
Right,
I'll write them down. I'll
ball
take-
bag. Let's go for that.
Classic.
Gallus.
What does gallus mean?
Oh, do you not know that?
No.
you
Went to
just
grammar
say he's
school.
gallus. It just means he's got a bit of a big
Big
personality.
confidence.
Love that.
That's
I think
why-
it
Gallus
was
guy.
it was Billy Connolly. Was he
I think he-
famous for saying that? No.
No.
It's great. I've lived here for
Um,
14 years.
William
This is
Gallen.
going well.
Bolt your rocket.
But what?
Bolt your rocket.
That means fuck off, right?
Yeah.
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 Heed the ball. Have you heard that one?
Yeah.
That's a good like Raymond Mearnsey one.
Yeah, fucking heed the ball.
yeah.
Swamp Dunk.
Coupon is like for coupon. You mean face? We had that one.
You're
before?
No,
Coupon.
I've heard
Pass.
pass for face. Yeah,
Pass, yeah.
that's a five thing, right?
Coupons like maybe more
How do you spell
Glasgow
that? I
thing.
mean, it doesn't really matter.
Just the way you
Coupon.
Coupon.
Oh, a coupon meaning a face.
You wouldn't
Yeah.
say coupon. though.
Oh, I see.
Coupon.
Also means like a
It would
like
be
at
funny if you
football
did
and
pronounce it that
accumulate.
way. That and people would be commenting about how you pronounced it wrong. It'd be like,
Coupon.
Coupon.
Well, this might.
I'll
This might
smack
do
you in
it.
the coupon.
Yeah.
But if you try to get Bampot and
Bampot.
I mean, it's
and
only
Swally or Steaming or
it's
something.
only about a minute and a half, I think. the
Yeah,
beat in it,
the
so-
beat's not that long. Yeah, but this would be great. This would be a
That's perfect
DJ
for
Crash
that.
original.
Cynical attempt at going viral, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
let's-
deeply cynical.
Let's see. But how good would it be for the listeners if they've listened
They're
to
in
this
on it.
and then
They're in
it
on
does go viral?
Yeah.
It'd be funny when it gets like 40 likes or something.
Yeah. All right.
So should we do some sort of setup for
I
you?
think so. I'm going to have to
Yeah.
really ham this up if we want
We'll
this
make
to...
it look impromptu.
Yes.
Aye.
So how should we go about that?
So
Should
what-
we
so
say
what
you,
are we
you
aiming
look
for
like a
here?
little nerd?
Yeah,
No, should
okay,
we say
that's...
that?
Yeah. Well, job done. So, what's up, Will? You fucking...
You're fucking
freak.
drunk.
You
So,
do
so
it.
well, you've been speaking to us. You know, we're Scottish. We've been speaking for the last hour.
Just
Do you think you
smart
could try
trying to
and?
get in the viral video.
Aye.
Let's get a clean
Yeah, clean cut. So, well, you've been talking to us, you know, three Scottish boys for the last hour. And
Indeed.
Now you're going to do a wee rap to kind of sum up the chat and some of the words we've been using.
Yes, and I've never met Scottish people before, so this is Very exciting for me. So the words I'm going to freestyle rap with are ball bag, Gallus, bolt your rocket, heeds the ball, Coopin, and Bampot, which is all very exciting for me. Stevie made this beat. It's a DJ Cash original.
DJ Cash in the house.
Put your motherfucking hands up.
We the best.
This is going to be an improvised rap. Yeah. Mic check, 1, 2, check, 1, 2. So every time I spit, this is incredible. The first Scottish word, it references testicles. That's what I've heard. It is my devotion. First word we know is Glaswegian for scrotum. All these other rappers, you know they all drag, hang loose on the beat like a fucking ball bag. Yeah, that's right. You know my flow's dominant. This second word, you know it means confident. I've known this in my Glasgow palace. I know that I'm confident, so I'm very gallus, yeah. And I hate these other rappers thinking they're sick, thinking they're so dapper. You know that they're not. You know I can pop it. So all these MCs, I'm saying, bolt your rocket. Yeah. Bust like a rocket ship. When I be off the tip of the rhythm, nobody can ever be stopping this. Yeah, that's right. My rhymes are so raw. I'll heat these rappers in their fucking ball. Heat them like a football. Step to me, you know it's such a good call. Let's do it. You know my rap's hot. These other MCs are all fucking bam pops. Black motherfuckers in the rap game. Man, I flow off the brain once, twice, and again. Now this is a word. I drop a truth bomb that I've just learned is not pronounced coupon. Instead, motherfuckers, man, it's a disgrace. The word coupon, it means your fucking face. I know that. I am just like dang. That's my freestyle rap about the Scottish slang. So thanks for having me. You know I rock bars. Every time I do, you know I bust fast. I'll tackle MCs like a scrum half. We can agree this has been an amount of hilarity.
Hey, some laugh.
Lovely bits of business.
Didn't they say it was all rhyme?
All rhyme. Just some rhyme. We're not promising all rhyme.
That was fantastic.
great.
Thank you, boys.
I particularly liked Heat the Bar.
Yeah.
Well, Ian,
Thank you so much.
Oh, a huge pleasure and an honour to be in this
cheers, man.
shed. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks for
great
coming.
to have you. Well, before you go, just please let us know where people can find you and if you've got anything to plug.
Well, my tour show at the Glasgow stand is tonight, so assuming this goes out a few weeks from now, you missed it. But I am doing the Edinburgh Fringe at Monkey Barrel, like all of us. I'm at Monkey Barrel doing a freestyle rapped comedy show every day at 1:55 p.m. Brunch time bars, baby. It's going to be
There you
great.
go.
Yeah.
And I'm MC Hammersmith on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, where children bully me in the comments.
And you can check out Will's videos as well. He does one. He's putting up one every week, isn't he?
Indeed, doing a Monday rap, a mic drop Monday, I'm calling it, every single Monday for a year, or at this rate, until the day I die. Just keep chatting them out.
Excellent stuff. Well, thanks so much for joining
Thank you
us.
so
and
much.
pleasure
Cheers,
to
man.
chat
That was
to you.
Pleasure and a
Fantastic.
delight. Thanks, lads.
Thank you.
Excellent. Now, as ever, before we go, just please remember to like and subscribe on YouTube. Give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And you can follow us at SomeLaughPod on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And send any question you've got to the email address, which is somelaughpod@gmail.com. Thanks a lot for tuning in, guys, and we'll speak to you very soon.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers,
Thank
Will.
you. Thank you, bro.